You're right, Bounty Hunter 3RCZ, but the benefit to what I was speaking about earlier is that throughout the whole act, grape shot grenades are important things. And then there's multiple pieces of information that inform you that you're going to need grape shot grenades for this fight. Yeah, or they could give you grenades during the fight. Sheila de Tanserville, if you had none, she could be like, forget something and toss one down to you. Yeah, I mean, but that question, but what if you don't have grape shots? Like, the game should train you through the course of the act to have grape shots on hand because it's the grape shot act. It would be like fighting the Dodongo and saying, but what if you don't have bombs? You will have bombs because the game has told you to bring bombs to this location because it's important for you to have bombs because it's the bomb part of the game. And then it feels clever because you feel smart because you've picked up on the cues that the game is giving you. Lots and lots of games do this, you guys. You're thinking about the worst case scenario where it's done poorly, but many games do it well. Zelda is a perfect example of a game that introduces an item that you need, and even though sometimes you have to go collect more, right? You don't always have bombs when you need them. You might get to a place or a fight or something and say, shit, I'm out of bombs. I need to go pick more bomb flowers and put them in my bomb bag. And then you feel clever because you've prepared, because you're using the mechanics of the game to beat the boss. Instead of, like that was a neat cinematic moment, but it didn't feel like my moment. It felt like a moment that the game put there for me because I had solved the puzzle. Oh ho ho ho, Astral Phoenix 777 says, you could argue that really good game design allows you to beat most, if not all, bosses by any means you see fit. I disagree, sir. I think that really good boss design presents a clear and interesting challenge that requires you to beat the boss in a specific way that builds on what you've learned previously in the game, that teaches you more about how to be an expert at the game, and that rewards you for solving it the right way. Always, you get rewarded for doing the right thing. And part of this boss fight was quite good. Like the trapping of the tentacles and the dodging of them and the setting of that up. That felt very skill based by the time that I figured out what to do. That was clever. It rewarded me for playing the boss fight right. I think when you look at a game where a boss was designed so that you can beat it however you want, you end up with something like King, oh man, what's his name? The last boss in Dark Souls, the king, the fire king, Gwyn, Lord Gwyn. And that boss fight felt quite mediocre because you sort of just did whatever you wanted in order to beat him. And in my case, that ended up being just parry him to death because it was the easiest thing to do. Whereas a number of the other fights had specific things that you had to achieve in order to beat them. And you couldn't just do anything. There were fights where I switched up armor, switched up weaponry, switched up to use a different strategy that was the optimal strategy for beating that boss. So, collect my reward for slaying the Karen. Yeah, I looted the Kraken. JD Blackfish, Zelda is incredibly formulaic. They take that formula to a rote level, and they say, okay, this is the bomb dungeon, and then there are bomb flowers, and then you use the bombs, and then you get the bomb bag, and then you use the bomb bag, and then you go to the boss and you have to kill it with bombs. They have turned it into a formula. But not every game that uses that same progression is as formulaic. I think, for example, not being explicit about it, or even just requiring the player to have brought grape shot grenades And like without grape shot grenades, then you go back into another segment of the fight that takes you longer, and it's harder to kill the boss without them. But if you happen to bring them, then because the game has been teaching you all along the way that you should have grape shot grenades, and here's what it looks like, and you've learned that the K-Ran has a soft spot in its armor on the top, and all sorts of things like that, then you feel clever, because it's not like the game forced you to have them, but it has rewarded you for playing smartly. Do I have to go to the... What? Where am I supposed to go? Ephraim Blade, I'm not sure what you're talking about. I don't remember exactly. Give me an example of whichever fights you remember specifically. He's asking, how do I feel about some of the old Final Fantasy games where, sure, there were easier ways to beat a boss, but I could just beat it to death with force instead.
Job done. The Kayran's dead.
Good work. You've earned your reward.
Done. Cool. Well, got a big reward. Beast is dead. But I don't have any more information about the assassin. Yes, I did get him to double the price. So, joke in 15, these fights where it's like, do one thing and then it makes the fight way easier, and there's nothing obvious to tell you what you should do to make it easier, that's a little weird. It feels less like a mechanic and more like an Easter egg, like the undead boss in Final Fantasy VII. If you cast revive on him, he dies, or if you cast healing spells on him, he loses damage. There's something interesting in that, but I don't know if that specifically is interesting to me. Again, like, if the game has put you in situations before where you can begin to understand and recognize, hey, this is the optimal strategy I should be using against these guys. Sure, I could just like spam sword attacks at them and they'll die eventually, but man, you know, if I cure them, they actually start crumbling because they're undead, and then you get this mental sort of connection. Undead, cure damaging. And then you meet an undead boss and you say, oh, well, let me try curing. Maybe if you just got the revive materia just before that boss, and it was the first time you had it, and it was like, there was some element of it that said, you know, this is the same element as healing, or it's life magic, just like curing is life magic. And then you can look at it and say, huh, revive is life magic. Curing is life magic. Curing has been damaging all the undead creatures I've been fighting. Curing damages this undead boss. Revive. Dead. Then that would feel quite cool. My experience of it was kind of like I read a wiki or something.
How's the commandant?
And then the creature was a trivial fight.
Or put us in shackles and throw us into the river.
He told me they're keeping Scoia'tael prisoners on a barge in the port.
Did he mention if Kieran Epesnalen, Yorvet's right-hand elf, is among them?
No.
He may know something about the Kingslayer.
Let's pay him a visit.
Pinch my ass and don't even leave a tip.
The moral downfall and
Follow Triss.
Boss, so what about that?
Is it?
is the work.
What do you want?
To speak with the wounded prisoner.
No one's allowed.
I'm here on Commandant Laredo's orders,
I already cut a deal with you, but
so get out of my way.
he won't tell you much. He's dying.
Yeah, Jokun 15, he's saying in the undead area in Final Fantasy IX, he tried to heal the normal enemies and they took damage, so he tried to revive on them and on the boss, and that felt really clever. And that's great. That is a strong example. But my exposure was in Final Fantasy VII, where there was just one boss in the middle of nowhere. There were, like, if you used cure spells on him, he took damage. And it wasn't set up well like that. So when it's set up well, like you described, that's fantastic.
Stop bloody moaning down there.
Look, coffer's dozed off.
Good morning, Orkin Chat.
They beat him bad. He's got at least a dozen fractures. I'll need your help.
What do I do?
The spell I'm going to use is painful. It could kill him if he thrashes around.
I'll use the Axie sign to calm him.
Perfect.
Yeah, Gin attack.
Wakey, wakey,
Oh,
coffer.
okay.
You'll fall asleep forever any day now. Look, Birdie's all wet. Hey, Birdie, you get wet just looking at me.
Get ready, Birdie. We'll be there to see you right after our walk.
It's no use.
You wish, Horson. I'm no traitor.
He's raving.
Vadgun? Where am I?
In Flotsam. On the prison barge.
The convict's barge? I'm done for.
Oh, Astral Phoenix. I played Final Fantasy VII when I was like 10, so I may have been an idiot when I was playing that and totally missed it. So if they set it up like that, like you're saying, that's awesome, because that is cool. That is clever. To my experience of it when I was a 10-year-old and not paying attention to every piece of dialogue because I was 10. I didn't catch it, and therefore it felt really weird and like out of place.
How did Laredo's goons catch Yorvith's right-hand elf?
I was betrayed. How else?
You'd be dying in pain if it wasn't for us.
If it wasn't for the Dwarn, I wouldn't be here.
There's a Witcher in Yorvith's unit.
Like every Dwarn, he turned out to be a bastard.
What happened?
He betrayed us. He said he had an offer for me. So we met, where roses of remembrance grow. I should have known.
Roses of Remembrance?
Yes, some of the last in the world. He thought that I'd betray my elven brother in order to control the unit. I refused, and there was a fight. I've never seen anything like it. No human can move that fast. It was a massacre. I was the first to be hit, thus I survived. I would have bled to death had Laredo's men not found me. Letho will kill Yorvith, and all will be lost. So many dead, so much suffering, all for naught.
Why does the Dwarn want Yorvith dead?
He used us from the start. Our hatred, but he no longer needs Yorvith. Sees him as a thorn in his side. I don't know what Letho wants.
Letho. He's the Kingslayer?
Yes.
What does Yorvith want? Why Flotsam?
Go plow yourself.
You have to tell me. I'm on your side.
If you say so. Flotsam is only the beginning. We're no bandits, we fight for freedom. In due time, Yorvith will answer the call, and we'll emerge from the woods, joining the battle.
What battle?
He wasn't specific.
In that case, I'll ask Yorvith himself.
I'd like to see that.
We got what we came for.
What now?
Yorvith.
What if Yorvith already knows?
I've got an old saying all ready for him. My enemy's enemy is my friend.
Warn him, Gwynblade. Yorvith fights, for that is what he does best. He's Enshe, a real one, a free one. Among the last, Fighting makes sense. Now more than ever before, there is still hope.
What are you talking about, Kieran? Hope for what?
For change. For a better tomorrow. I'll not see it. They'll torment me to death on this barge, and I'll go gladly where the apple trees bloom. But you must warn Yorveth.
Yennefer told me that Ciri has departed for good. She inhabits another world and is happy there. Before she left this one, she gave us the Isle of Avalok, our island. We stopped counting time. People believe that the wraiths of the Wild Hunt are immortal. They race across the heavens, gripping in their bony hands swords, their lightning bolts. They take away mortals, ever expanding their cavalcade of spectral riders. They burned the orchard and the house. In their armored boots, they trampled our island. And they made off with Yennefer. I had to get her back. Return to reality. Return to the Witcher's path.
That art style is so ugly. Like, I think intentionally ugly. I'm not trying to be mean about it this time. I think it's really
Are you all right?
I've been
really
to the Isle of
aggressive and
Avalok,
blocky
among
and
the apple trees and the mists. After the massacre in Rivia, Ciri took me there, and Yennefer. The Wraith Riders kidnapped Yen, and I pursued them.
But
Triss, this is important. I feel like everything's coming together. When the Witchers found me barely alive a half-year ago near Kaer Morhen, I was fleeing the Wraiths of the Hunt. They continued to pursue me, in the outskirts, then in Vizima when I killed the Grand Master. Now I know it was no coincidence.
Kieran mentioned roses of remembrance growing somewhere near here. Cedric claims likewise. If that's true,
Right now I should be searching the forest for Yorveth, not looking for flowers.
I could restore your memory.
You sure?
Everything seems to indicate that. Whatever's blocking your memory is clearly weakening. I think I could break that barrier with just one petal from a rose of remembrance. Those flowers are truly powerful.
In that case, Yorveth can wait.
Want me to go with you?
I'd love your company.
All right then. Let's go. Cedric mentioned there are some old elven buildings near the cascade in the forest. We should start there.
Lead the way.
Shut your traps. Stop
Now I
bloody
remember where
mowing
that
down
is.
There.
Look, Coffer's dozed.
Wakey, wakey, Coffer. You'll fall asleep forever any day now.
Who was I trying to say hey to? Oh, someone. Sukaiji. Good morning, Sukaiji. I haven't had any coffee yet this... Hey guys, let's take a 5-minute break and get coffee. Oh no, need to drink it all. All of the
Birdie's all
coffee.
wet. Hey, Birdie.
Okay.
You get wet just looking at me.
Get ready,
He's gonna make me
Birdie.
more coffee.
Down to see you right after our
I'm
walk.
following Triss. This whole game is very anachronistic. Like Spoon Fairy's talking about how the saying "the enemy of my enemy is my friend" started in the 1800s, not at all back in, you know, medieval times. But like someone else was pointing out in chat, that Elf was talking about fractures, or Triss and The Witcher were talking about fractures. And they understand genetics and mutation as a result of magical experimentation. That's one of the things that I really enjoy about this series. It's because they have a really interesting world where like magic has exposed features of reality that we know as a result of science. But this game knows as a result of magical experimentation. Take that scleroderm. Where is it? Hey!
How many more can there be?
Especially since I killed all their queens. I want to get all your stuff. Huh. Oh, Triss, you're getting killed by an Endrega. Yeah, Joram. The understanding of DNA came from magical experimentation as well. I think that's the idea. Come on now. Oh. Gimme! Yay! Ow! Traps. I need to find these hunters and just like snap their traps all back onto them. Be like, here, see how it feels. Snap, 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 snap. Hello, Necker. Well. Man, I am way better than Triss at killing monsters. Which is good. If she was like a really powerful NPC who could kill a lot of monsters, then I'd feel like my Witcher status not that impressive. But instead it's like, hey, here's this sorceress who her fireballs don't do a whole lot against monsters because I'm the expert. Me.
I think we've arrived. The cascade, the menhir. We need to take the path leading upwards.
Gardens in the middle of forests? Those elves really like to complicate things.
Stop whining. It's not far now.
Yeah. Stop whining. Stop whining! Take the path leading upwards to the ruin. Let's go, Triss.
Cedric told me a beautiful legend about this place.
Legends are almost always beautiful, especially elven ones. The reality often leaves a lot to be desired.
Well, Cedric also said the site itself was something wonderful. The rose must be here somewhere.
I'll look around.
Alden and Cymoril. Cedric said Cymoril eclipsed even Francesca Findabair with her beauty, and Francesca's reputed to be the world's most beautiful woman.
Cedric drinks too much.
Yeah.
He really has visions, you know. He really has the gift. He could learn to control it if he drank less.
Cedric drinks to get rid of the visions, and that's something I understand perfectly well.
I don't remember who Cedric is. Do you guys remember?
Oh my, lovers. Look there. It's beautiful. I just don't understand it. How did the elves become so cruel? The one with the scar had so much hatred in him.
Places like this make you realize just how much they've lost. There used to be entire elven cities, and the forests were theirs to enjoy, not to hide in.
Right, Cedric, yes.
Humans destroyed that.
Now I remember, thank you.
Yorvith and his kind are taking revenge, though not all elves are like that.
Kieran said there's a lot more at stake.
He has his ideal, a certain vision of the world. But do you think there's room for humans in it?
We're practically one and the same.
Wrong, Triss. We've been learning from each other for generations, but we're different at base.
I don't know why I find that awfully sad.
Just like this garden. Beautiful and sad.
Yep, trap guy. Gregory 511 was asking, what are my thoughts on that sequence with Triss sprinting out in front of me? That actually felt good. My biggest frustration is when NPCs like walk somewhere and I'm sprinting and then like I have to wait for them. If I have to like follow her and catch up to her, that's fine. Especially because like she's got this little exclamation point on the minimap showing me where she is. So if she gets ahead of me, I can always go to her position. Like that felt okay to me. I know that for some people it might feel a little frustrating. I think when NPCs, when you're escorting them, the strongest way to do it is to have you be the one controlling your pace of movement and the NPC keeps pace with you. So let's do this.
Cymoral's Rose of Remembrance. Legend has it they wilt unless nourished with blood, and also if they're sold. But give it to someone you love, and it'll live forever.
Oh. That's not fair.
This one's for you.
Oh, Geralt.
I want you to keep it. If there's any truth to the legend, it shouldn't wilt, even if you pluck a petal or two.
Thank you.
This is the statue, Curly. Don't mind us. Imagine the corn we'll get. I won't leave the brothel for a month.
6 weeks even.
Where does that woman get the gold for all this? I mean, her and the old man, they're buying a new house. And now these statues for the garden. Must be deflawing the treasury. What's a town chancellor do anyway?
It'd be ploughing hard to move.
We'd never shift it in one piece. I know. We'll break off the legs, the heads, remove it in bits.
Triss is like, oh
Break off your
my
own
god.
head, clown.
Shut your trap, cunt.
It's killing time. Let's go.
Damn.
Yeah.
Kill them!
Dudes, I've killed a K-Ran. Y'all got nothing.
Bad for a freak
Yeah, let's just fireball you to death. Come on. Cool. Oh no! I think Triss is about to get killed. Yep. Oh, no. Well. We've fallen underground. Hey, into the gorgeously beautiful Elven baths, which have never been seen for millennia. It's time to enable the mature tag.
Incredible what the N-shape built before human ships ever appeared in the Pontar Delta. Elves possess a sensitivity humans can't ever hope to acquire. Trapped.
Be like, I don't know. I think I can help you discover a lot of sensitivity. Guys, I'm laughing at my own jokes. It's so good. The Wild Hunt. According to the Nordlings, the Wild Hunt is a procession, or rather a cavalcade of skeletal horsemen. They rush across the sky on the bony remains of steeds. Clad in rusty remnants of armor, they wear jagged swords at their waists. Like comets, the Wild Hunt is an omen of war, which has been confirmed beyond all doubt. The spectral cavalcade ventures out in search of victims every several years, but its harvest was never as rich as just before the last war with Nilfgaard, when over 20 souls went missing in Novigrad alone after the hunt passed through. Curiously, Elven and Dwarven legends make not the slightest mention of the Wild Hunt.